This is Zach Feldberg with showcase.ca, and today my guests will be three guys who would need no introduction were they here in the room with me, but since we're doing this interview via speakerphone, Halifax to Toronto, why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
How's it going? I'm John-Paul Tremblay. You got Robb Wells here?
And Mike Smith.
Also known as the stars of one of the most successful Canadian series of all time, Trailer Park Boys. And there's been speculation for years about what you guys would do as a second act to follow up Trailer Park Boys. So I'm so excited that we can finally announce this. We've been talking about it for a long time, but it's now official. And why don't you guys go ahead and do the honors?
Right on. Well, we have a brand new comedy series called the Drunken on Drugs Happy Funtime Hour that will be coming up on Showcase in November 2010.
And that is still a working title.
At this point, yeah, it is. And anyway, we love the title. We hope we can use that title. But we're just happy to be having this new show and working with Showcase again. It's great.
So tell us what it's all about.
Well, it's kind of it's based on a kid show that goes wrong when a hallucinogenic drug is introduced to the cast and crew. So, you know, people that were hired to act on this kid show, once they get on these things, they sort of start to believe they really are their characters. So on the kid show, there was going to be pirates and superheroes and all these fun little characters that turn very dark when things go wrong.
And those characters are mostly played by you guys, by you three. And I can't help but wonder if that's a reaction to playing the same three guys for the better part of a decade.
I think that's a lot of it. I think the other part was it's just we've had so many years, I guess, to think about other projects and other things and playing different characters. And now, rather than give our audience a new version of Mike Smith and JP and Rob, we're going to give them like 6 or 7 different versions of JP, Mike, and Rob. So.
And Mike, I wanted to ask you specifically. I mean, you spent years wearing these thick glasses, portraying Bubbles on Trailer Park Boys. What's it like to be on set and finally being able to see everything around you, finally be clear-eyed?
Very strange, I have to say. The whole Bubbles character thing, once you put the glasses on and you can't see through them, it's you're sort of in this world, and it's very easy to play that character because of that. But I don't think it was until we started shooting one of the scenes where we were playing ourselves in the demo thing, and it just sort of hit me all of a sudden that, wow, I can see who I'm talking to here. It's bizarre.
You mentioned the berries earlier. They're a very important part of the show. What are those berries based on? What's the closest real-life equivalent to the blueberries in Drunken on Drugs Happy Funtime Hour?
I mean, they're just sort of an invention that, to justify this very trippy, strange world that we're creating, with these incredibly bizarre characters. If you're going to have incredibly bizarre characters, you need to justify that some way. And, people like drugs. What can I say?
Sure. And you're working with Alex Lifeson again, the Rush guitarist. You've worked with him before. And in this series, in the show within the show, he plays a scientist, becomes a real-life evil scientist who makes these hallucinogenic berries. And I wondered if there's any basis in reality there. Does he take his method acting to those extremes? And is there any fear of him flying off the handle?
I think it's possible. I don't know. It's more of we just love working with Alex. We thought it was a perfect fit because basically what it turns out is he becomes a method actor. He takes all of his years of touring with a rock band, 30 years of that, and all the partying and different things he's experienced, and kind of mixes them all into one big batch of magic berries and gets people on them and addicted to them. Everything goes crazy.
And of course, this all happens in Port Cockerton, the fictional town the show is based on. Do you have a region of Canada in mind for Port Cockerton? Where do you think it would be were it real?
Any small, very small, port, I guess, anywhere, and it could be Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, somewhere in BC, or just somewhere on the ocean, a very, very small town. It's
generic rural Canada in a bizarre setting.
It's a very, very strange little town.
I don't know if you've ever spent any time in rural Canada, but there's there's tons of great characters. I'm from rural Canada, and there was tons of great characters where I grew up.
Are you pulling influences from those people as you continue to write and produce this new show?
I think we definitely are pulling influences from people like that for the actual residents of the town itself. As far as, all the characters that we've created, they're more people, outsiders that come to this small little town and find the town a little bizarre, and they end up getting banged up on these hallucinogenic drugs and letting loose. So it's quite a mixture, really. You got your regular small town bizarre characters, and then these new bizarre characters around the berries mixing together.
Do you plan on calling up any of your former castmates, or how important is it for you to create a departure from the work you've been doing for the past few years?
I mean, we wanted to do something fresh. We've been actually working on the show for the past two and a half years while on tour because the three of us spend so much time together. So we're not sure. We might use some of the other characters that we've worked with in the past 10 years. We're gonna figure that out probably in the next couple months or so.
Okay, and then you're going into production next year.
Hopefully in May, yes.
And we'll start hearing more and more about the show. So over the next few months, we're going to be putting up just bits and pieces and a trailer and clips and things like that at showcase.ca, and we'll hear more as the months wear on.
Yeah.
Awesome.